A broke single mom saw her first love at the airport, not knowing he had become a millionaire chief executive officer. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. The terminal hums with rolling suitcases, overhead announcements, and the soft shuffle of early morning travelers. Soft sunlight slips through the tall glass windows, brushing warm gold across the polished floors. But Claire Dalton does not notice any of it. She stands near gate B12, gripping a worn backpack with one hand and her boarding pass with the other. Her breath hitches faintly, half from lack of sleep, half from the weight of everything riding on this morning. Her reflection on the glass catches her eye. The second-hand coat with a missing button. The tired eyes from cleaning offices until almost 1:00 a.m. The ponytail tied too quickly in the dark of her small studio apartment. She presses her lips together. This is not the version of herself she wanted to bring into a dream interview, but it is the only version she has left. "You promised Evan," she whispers. Her son's voice comes back to her, bright and sure. "You are going to get that job, Mom. I know it." Claire steels herself. There is no room for fear, no room for failure. She gave up too much to buy this ticket. She checks the number again. B12. She steps toward the seating area, weaving through travelers bundled in winter coats and holding paper cups of airport coffee. And that is when she sees him. A man sits alone by the wide window, the sky behind him painted peach and blue. He is dressed simply in a navy hoodie and clean joggers, head tilted down as he scrolls through his phone. Something about the slope of his shoulders, the way he runs a hand through his hair, the stillness he carries even in a crowd. Claire stops moving. Her heart twists painfully. It cannot be. But it is. Logan Mercer. Her first love. Her almost everything. The boy who once sat on the hood of his old truck with her and traced constellations with his fingertip. The boy she walked away from when life demanded she grow up overnight. For a second, Claire forgets how to breathe. He looks so normal, so familiar. Not flashy, not polished like the high-powered executives she sometimes sees in magazines while cleaning corporate offices. Just Logan. Maybe she should avoid him. Maybe she should turn around. Maybe fate is playing a cruel joke. But her feet move anyway. Logan. Her voice cracks softly. He lifts his head, and the world pauses. The airport noise melts into a distant hum as his eyes lock onto hers. Disbelief flashes across his face, followed by something warmer, something that hits her harder than she expects. "Claire." He stands slowly, almost cautiously. "Claire Dalton. I cannot believe this. It is really you." Claire offers a small, awkward smile, tugging at the frayed edge of her sleeve. "Yeah. Hi. I did not mean to interrupt. I just thought it looked like you. It is me." His smile spreads, genuine, stunned. "It has been a long time." She nods, her pulse thudding anxiously. She is painfully aware of everything he might notice, her tired face, her cheap shoes, the stress she cannot disguise. "So, are you traveling for work?" she asks, trying to keep her voice even. Logan glances briefly at the departures board and then back at her. "Meetings," he says lightly. "But nothing urgent. What about you? Where are you headed this early?" She hesitates. The truth feels fragile. But Logan always had a way of looking at her like he could see straight through pretenses. "I have a job interview," she admits. "I really need it." Logan's expression softens with something like concern or memory. "I hope it goes well," he says quietly. "You always deserved better than what life gave you." The words land deeper than she expects. She forces a smile and steps back toward the boarding line. "I should get ready. They are calling my group soon." Claire. Logan calls gently. She turns. "It is really good to see you." Emotion catches in her throat. She nods and turns away before anything inside her can unravel. As she hands her boarding pass to the agent, she glances back once. Logan is still watching her. Still standing there. Still stunned, as if the past 10 years suddenly stirred awake inside him. What Claire does not know, what she cannot possibly imagine, is that the man she just spoke to is no longer the boy she once loved. He is Logan Mercer, the self-made chief executive officer of Mercer Dynamics, one of the fastest-growing tech empires in the country, and seeing her again has just changed everything. Claire sinks into her aisle seat, pressing her backpack beneath the seat in front of her. The cabin lights glow soft and dim, and a recording welcomes passengers on board, but her mind is nowhere on this plane. It is still standing back at gate B12, still locked on a pair of familiar eyes, still hearing a warm voice she has not heard in almost a decade. Logan Mercer. Here. At 6 in the morning, at the exact gate she was using, the coincidence feels unreal, almost scripted by something larger than her life has allowed lately. She closes her eyes, trying to steady her breathing, but the rush in her chest refuses to settle. The flight takes off. Buildings shrink beneath the clouds. Claire rests her forehead against the cool window, watching the horizon blur into pale blue. For a moment she lets herself imagine something foolish, what her life might have been if she had never walked away from him, but she pushes the thought aside. She cannot afford fantasies. Not today. 3 hours later, she steps into the small regional airport where her interview will take place. She smooths her coat, practices a steady smile, and walks into the waiting area of Harrison and Blythe Medical Supplies, clutching her folder of printed resumes. It is not a glamorous company. It is not a dream job, but it is stable, and she needs stable more than anything. Inside the lobby, she fills out a form, sits and rehearses the lines she memorized. I am reliable. I am organized. I am ready for long hours. Her hands tremble slightly. She hides them in her lap. By the time she completes 2 rounds of questions and a short skills test, the winter sun has already dipped lower. The hiring manager gives her a polite smile that feels like a warning more than encouragement. We will be in touch in a few days. She knows what that usually means. She thanks them anyway, forces a grateful smile, and steps outside into the cold air. Snowflakes drift lazily from a gray sky. Claire pulls her thin coat tighter and walks toward the bus stop, doing her best not to feel crushed under another uncertain outcome. Her phone buzzes. Evan's name lights the screen. Her heart softens. Hey, sweetheart, she answers, steadying her voice. How was it, Mom? Did they like you, I think? I think I did well, she replies gently. I will know soon. She leaves out the tremor of doubt. She has no right to place her worries on him. Okay, I made noodles for dinner, he says proudly. Aunt Maya said it is safe as long as I do not use too much water. Claire smiles despite everything. That sounds perfect. I will be home soon. She hangs up and exhales shakily. The bus stop is nearly empty. Wind sweeps across the pavement, lifting loose snow in thin spirals. Claire lowers herself onto the cold metal bench and rests her head in her hands. She wishes she had not seen Logan. She wishes she had been stronger. Or maybe weaker. Seeing him awakened something she thought she had locked away: hope. And hope is dangerous for someone who has spent years living moment to moment. A black sedan pulls up a few yards away. She barely notices it until the driver steps out holding something in his hands. Excuse me, he says politely. Are you Claire Dalton? She freezes. No one here should know her name. Yes, she replies cautiously. The driver offers her a sealed envelope. This was left for you at the main desk. They told me to ensure you received it immediately. Claire frowns and reaches for it, her fingers tingling with a strange anticipation. The envelope is thick, heavy, and her name is written across the front in handwriting she has not seen since she was 18. Logan Mercer. Her pulse leaps. She looks up at the driver, stunned, but he simply nods, returns to the sedan, and pulls away. Claire swallows hard and opens the envelope with trembling hands. Inside is a single sheet of paper, a message, written in the same careful handwriting that once traced constellations for her on summer nights. You deserve more than the life you have been forced to carry. If you ever want help or even just closure, meet me. Tomorrow, 1000 a.m. Mercer Dynamics headquarters. Claire's breath catches. Her heartbeat stutters. Mercer Dynamics. His company. His world. A world she has never belonged to. The snow falls harder around her as she reads the final line. I owe you more than you know. Logan. She folds the letter against her chest, unaware that this invitation will change everything she believes about her past, her future, and the man who once loved her more than anything. The next morning arrives colder than she expected. A pale winter light washes over the city as Claire stands across the street from Mercer Dynamics headquarters, clutching the letter against her chest. The building rises like a wall of glass and steel, modern and intimidating, glowing with the kind of quiet power she has only ever seen from far away. People in tailored coats and polished shoes stream through the revolving doors with confident steps. Claire hesitates on the sidewalk, painfully aware of her worn boots and thrift store coat. She feels small, out of place, like a single mother who barely made rent last month has no right to stand in front of a skyscraper built on success she never tasted. She pulls in a breath and whispers, "You promised Evan." You keep going. Pushing down her fear, she crosses the street. Inside, the lobby opens, like a cathedral of glass marble floors gleaming beneath soft white lights. A large digital display shows news about Mercer Dynamics, medical technology innovations, scholarships, community initiatives. The kind of world that belongs to people who never had to choose between groceries and rent. A receptionist greets her with a professional smile. "Good morning. How can I help you?" Claire hands her the letter from Logan. The receptionist reads the signature, and her expression shifts instantly into something respectful. "Of course. Please follow me." Claire walks behind her, nerves twisting with every step. They enter a private elevator that rises smoothly, silently toward the upper floors. Claire watches the numbers climb far beyond anything she has ever imagined visiting. When the doors open, she steps into a quiet hallway lined with modern art. Light spills from tall windows overlooking the city. At the end of the hall, a pair of glass doors stand open. A voice speaks from inside. "Let her in." She recognizes it instantly. Claire steps forward, her breath caught somewhere between fear and something else she is afraid to name. Logan Mercer stands near the window, his hands in his pockets as the sunlight traces the edges of his silhouette. Gone is the hoodie and joggers from yesterday. He wears a charcoal suit, subtle but flawless, the kind that is not meant to show off but cannot hide its own quality. His hair is neatly styled, and there is a calm, steady authority in his posture that she has never seen before. He is not the boy she remembered. He is a man now. A man who carries an entire company in his stride. He turns to face her fully. "Claire." The way he says her name, quiet, almost reverent, sends a tremor running through her. She forces herself to speak. "I got your letter. I did not know what you wanted." "I did," he replies softly. "I wanted you to come." He gestures for her to sit. She lowers herself into the chair opposite his sleek desk, feeling the distance between their worlds widen with each passing second. Logan sits across from her, but his eyes are still searching her face, as if trying to understand something he lost years ago. "How did you find me yesterday?" she asks, her fingers tightening around the strap of her bag. "I did not," he answers. "I was already at the airport for a connecting flight. I looked up and you were standing there. I thought I imagined you." Claire lowers her eyes. "It was unexpected." "Unexpected," he repeats quietly. "For years I tried to forget what happened, but yesterday reminded me that I never did." Her breath stumbles. "Logan, we were kids. Life happened. You built something incredible. I did not. That is all." He leans forward slightly. "That is not all." His voice is steady, but there is something heavier behind it, something she does not understand yet. Claire looks around his office at the framed awards, the skyline view, the quiet evidence of success built through relentless work. And suddenly she feels the truth burn in her chest. "I do not belong here," she whispers. I should not have come. Logan rises from his chair before she can stand. He shakes his head slowly. You do belong here. You belonged in my life long before this office, long before this company. You just never stayed long enough to see it. The words strike her harder than she is prepared for. Logan, stop. I am not the same person you knew. Neither am I, he replies. But that does not erase what we were, or what you meant to me. She grips the armrest, her voice tight. I walked away because I had to, because I could not bring you into the mess my life became. His expression darkens with pain he hides too well. I wish you had let me choose that myself. Silence fills the room, thick and trembling. Claire looks away, fighting the sting in her eyes. I did not come here for this. I know, Logan says softly. He takes a breath, controlled and slow. That is why I asked you here. Not for the past, for something else. He places a folder on the desk between them. Her heart pounds as she stares at it, not knowing yet that what lies inside will alter everything she believes about him and everything she thinks she deserves. Claire stares at the folder resting between them. The matte black cover feels heavier than paper should allow, as if it holds something she is not ready to face. Logan does not push it toward her. He simply waits, giving her space to breathe, which somehow makes the moment even more overwhelming. She finally gathers her voice. What is this, Logan? A chance, he says quietly. And an apology. Her chest tightens. An apology for what? You did nothing wrong. Logan exhales, a steady breath pulled from somewhere deep in his chest. I built this company from nothing after you left. Every long night, every risk, every win. I kept telling myself I was proving something, that I was becoming someone who could have been enough for you. Claire flinches. Logan, do not do that. I left because my life fell apart, not because you were lacking. I know, he says, but I also know that you did not have anyone to help you when everything collapsed. I should have known. I should have tried harder to find you, and I never stopped regretting that. She swallows, feeling her throat burn. You do not owe me anything. Maybe not, he replies, but I owe myself the truth, and the truth is, I never wanted to be the boy you walked away from. I wanted to be the man who could walk beside you. His words shake her more than she expected. She does not want them to, but they do. Logan gestures toward the folder. Claire, please, open it. With trembling hands she lifts the cover. Inside are documents neatly arranged. A schedule, a proposal, a badge with her name printed clearly across it. She blinks in confusion. What is all this? It is a position, Logan explains. A real one. Full-time. Stable hours, health benefits, a child care stipend, and training included. You would work in our community initiatives department. They need someone organized, committed, and patient. Someone like you. Claire shakes her head instantly. I cannot take this. Logan, this is too much. It is charity. It is not charity, he says firmly. It is your talent being recognized. I remember who you were. Focused. Determined. Smart enough to take apart a problem faster than anyone I knew. That was a long time ago. It is still you, he says. Life did not destroy your potential. It just buried it under responsibilities. Claire presses a hand to her forehead. This is insane. You barely even know who I am anymore. Logan steps closer, but not too close, just enough for her to feel his sincerity. I know you better than anyone ever did. And I know when someone is trying to rebuild their life alone. You have carried too much, Claire. Let someone else carry something for once. Her eyes sting again and she turns away before tears can fall. Logan, people do not get jobs like this. Not people like me. He holds her gaze steadily. They do when they earned them a long time ago. Silence settles between them, soft but intense. He continues, his voice lower. And if you are worried this is because of the past, it is not. This department does not report to me. I cannot interfere with their decisions. They already approved your application. All I did was recommend they meet with you. Claire's breath catches. You submitted an application. When yesterday, he says gently. Right after you boarded your flight. Her hands tremble around the folder. She feels dizzy, overwhelmed, unsure where hope ends and fear begins. Why would you do that? She whispers. Because you deserve a doorway, Logan replies. Not a dead end. She closes the folder slowly, hugging it to her chest without realizing it. Her legs feel weak, her heart feels unsteady, and for the first time in years something unfamiliar stirs inside her. Possibility. Logan watches her with quiet patience. You do not need to give me an answer today. Just think about it. Claire nods faintly, her voice barely audible. I will. As she rises to leave, Logan steps aside to open the door for her. But before she walks out, he speaks again, softer than before. Claire, I am glad you came. She does not trust her voice enough to answer. She simply nods once and steps into the hallway, gripping the folder as if it is the only solid thing in her world. What she does not know yet is that this opportunity, this doorway, Logan placed in front of her, will not just change her career. It will change everything she believes about him and everything she believes she deserves. Claire steps into the elevator with the folder pressed tightly against her chest. The doors close, sealing her in with the soft hum of machinery and the echo of her own heartbeat. She watches the floors count down, but her mind is still upstairs, standing in Logan's office, replaying every word he said. You deserve a doorway, not a dead end. She cannot remember the last time anyone said something like that to her. When the elevator reaches the lobby, Claire steps out into the warm lights and polished marble, feeling strangely disconnected from the world around her. People move past her with purpose, swiping badges, speaking in confident tones, dressed in clothes she has only seen in magazines. She slips through them quietly and exits onto the street where the winter wind rushes against her face like a reminder of reality. Her phone buzzes. It is a message from Logan. If you need anything today, let me know. I am here. Claire exhales shakily and pockets the phone. She walks toward the bus stop, her boots crunching lightly through thin patches of ice. Her thoughts chase each other in circles. She cannot accept this job. She cannot accept help. She cannot let the past decide her future. But she also cannot deny something else. Logan did not look at her with pity. He looked at her the same way he once did, steady, patient, believing. She boards the bus and sits by the window. The folder rests on her lap like a fragile promise. She opens it again, unable to stop herself. Inside are training opportunities, staff bios, and a welcome packet filled with hope she is afraid to touch. Her mind drifts back to the girl she used to be. The girl who dreamed of becoming a program coordinator for community outreach. The girl who wanted to help people. The girl who believed she could do anything before life forced her into survival mode. She closes her eyes. Maybe that girl is not gone. When she reaches her neighborhood, Claire walks the few blocks to her apartment. The building is old with peeling paint and a dim hallway light, but it is home. She unlocks the door and steps inside. Evan looks up from the kitchen table with a wide grin. Mom, you are back. Did they say yes? Claire smiles softly and kneels beside him. They said they will call me soon. Evan studies her face, as if he can sense the complicated truth beneath her answer. But you look different, he says. Happier. Did something else happen? She hesitates for a moment and then smooths his hair gently. Something unexpected, sweetheart. Something good. Later that night, after Evan falls asleep, Claire sits at the small kitchen table with a cup of instant coffee and the folder spread open again. She reads every page, slowly, carefully. Her eyes linger on the words Child Care Assistance Program, and her breath catches. She imagines picking Evan up after school without rushing from one cleaning job to another. She imagines weekends that belong to him instead of exhaustion. It feels impossible, but Logan offered possibility, not a miracle. A knock echoes softly at the door. Claire stiffens. No one visits her at this hour. She walks to the door cautiously and peeks through the peephole. Her breath stops. Logan stands in the dim hallway holding 2 takeout bags from the diner across the street. He looks tired, as if he has been debating this visit for hours. Claire opens the door slowly. "Logan, what are you doing here?" He lifts the bags with a gentle, almost embarrassed smile. "I remembered you always liked their chicken soup. I thought you might not have eaten yet after such a long day." She stares at him, surprised, conflicted, unsure whether to step back or forward. "Logan, you did not have to come." "I know," he says, "but I wanted to." The hallway goes quiet. The cold air drifts around them, carrying a familiarity she cannot ignore. He looks at her carefully as if measuring her breath. "Do you want me to go?" She hesitates. Her heart pulls in two directions at once. "No," she says softly. "You can come in." Logan enters the small apartment. His presence fills the space, not loudly but with a warmth she has not felt in years. He sets the food on the table and notices the open folder. "You read it," he says gently. Claire nods. "I did." And she folds her hands slowly, gathering courage she does not know she has. "I am scared," she admits. "But for the first time in a long time I want to try." Logan's eyes warm, steady and bright. "Then let us start there," he says. "One step. Together." Claire lowers her gaze, her pulse unsteady. She does not know what their future holds. But for the first time in years, she is not running from it. The next morning arrives with a thin layer of frost over the windows, but Claire feels something she has not woken up with in years. A quiet pulse of hope. Evan chatterboxes beside her as she prepares his breakfast, telling her about a science project and a drawing he made. She listens, smiling more easily than she expected. When he leaves for school with his aunt, Claire stands alone in the apartment staring at the folder from Mercer Dynamics resting on the table. She takes a breath, lifts it, and presses it against her chest. "This is the first step," she whispers. Later that afternoon, she walks into the Community Initiatives Department for her first preliminary meeting. The office is bright and welcoming, filled with posters about scholarship programs, city cleanups, and volunteer drives. A coordinator named Denise greets her warmly and hands her a starter packet. "We are glad you are here, Claire. Logan spoke highly of you," Denise says with a smile. The words send a small jolt through Claire. "He did, oh yes. He does not speak highly of many people. But your name came with a very confident recommendation." Claire feels her cheeks warm, unsure how to respond. She sits through orientation, learning about the department's mission, workflow, and training structure. The quiet energy of the place feels familiar in a way her life has not felt familiar in a long time. When orientation ends, she walks outside into the crisp air. And standing near the sidewalk, leaning casually against a black sedan, is Logan. He straightens when he sees her. "How did it go?" Claire tries to hide the tremor in her voice. "It was good. Better than I expected." His smile grows warmer. "I am glad. I thought you might be nervous, so I waited." "You did not need to wait for me," she says softly. "I know," he replies, "but I wanted to." He gestures toward the park across the street. "Do you have a moment? I would like to talk." Claire hesitates for a breath and then nods. They walk side by side along the path lined with bare winter trees. The cold air brushes against their faces, but the quiet between them feels strangely warm. After a moment, Logan speaks. "Claire, I want to be honest about something. I did not bring you into that department out of guilt. I brought you in because you have always had the heart for work that matters." She stops walking. "Logan, why does it matter so much to you?" He looks at her without turning away, his expression steady and full of something she cannot name. "Because for years I have been surrounded by people who admire the title, the success, the money. You are the first person who ever saw me when I had none of those things. And yesterday reminded me of that." Her breath catches in her chest. He continues, his voice softer. "I am not asking for anything from you. I just want to be someone you do not have to run from anymore." Claire lowers her gaze, overwhelmed. "I never ran because of you. I ran because my life was falling apart and I did not want to drag you into the chaos." He steps closer, just enough for his voice to settle around her. "You never would have dragged me anywhere. I would have walked with you." Her throat tightens. She turns away for a moment, blinking back emotion she cannot control. Logan watches her carefully. I know this is a lot, so let us take it slow. Work first. Stability first. Let everything else come when it is ready. Claire nods, her voice barely above a whisper. That sounds fair. As they turn back toward the sidewalk, Logan gently places his coat around her shoulders. The gesture is simple, but it hits her with the full force of memory, comfort, and something she once believed she would never feel again. She looks at him, unsure how to thank him. He smiles softly. One step at a time, Claire. That is all we need. She holds the coat tighter around her, her pulse unsteady. Something is beginning between them, slow, cautious, fragile, and she is no longer sure she wants to stop it. The next week moves in a rhythm Claire has never known before. She wakes early, prepares Evan for school, and heads to Mercer Dynamics for her training sessions. She learns scheduling systems, event planning tools, and community partner protocols. Each day feels demanding, but for the first time in years the work feels meaningful. Logan keeps his distance at the office, just as he promised. He never interrupts her training, never shows favoritism, never makes her feel watched. But some days, when she steps out for lunch or passes through the lobby, she catches his eyes from across the room, a silent reassurance, a quiet, steady presence. By Friday afternoon, she leaves the building feeling more confident than she expected. She walks toward the bus stop, bundled in the coat Logan gave her a few days earlier. Snow flurries drift across the sky. Claire lifts her face to them, letting the cold brush her skin like a reminder that she is still learning how to breathe in this new life. Then she hears a voice behind her. Claire, she turns. A woman in a tailored coat stands near the sidewalk holding a tablet. Her hair is pulled into a sleek bun and her expression is cool, calculating. I am Emily Stone, the woman says, Director of Operations. Claire's posture stiffens. She recognizes the name. Emily Stone is one of the closest executives to Logan, often featured beside him in news articles. Oh, hello, Claire replies. Is something wrong, Emily? Studies her for a moment, her gaze sharp. I wanted to speak with you privately. I noticed your rapid onboarding and your assignment to our department. Claire shifts uneasily. I am grateful for the opportunity. Emily smiles, but it is not warm. I am sure you are. It is not every day that someone with no corporate background is brought directly into a key division, especially someone with a personal connection to the chief executive officer. Claire's breath catches. I do not know what you mean. Emily steps closer, lowering her voice. I mean that people talk, and people notice. Logan Mercer is not careless. Yet, here you are, suddenly placed in a department he funds and oversees closely. Claire feels heat build in her chest. I earned my position. I have done everything they asked. I am sure you have, Emily replies lightly. But understand this, Claire. Corporate environments are delicate. People will assume you are here because Logan wanted you here, not because you deserve it. That is how rumors begin. And rumors can destroy careers. The words strike like cold water. Claire steadies herself. Are you warning me I am advising you? Emily says. For your own good. Before Claire can answer, a familiar voice cuts through the air. Emily. That is enough. Claire turns. Logan stands behind them, his expression calm but unmistakably firm. Emily straightens. I was simply offering guidance. No, Logan says you were out of line. Emily's jaw tightens, but she steps back without another word and walks away, her heels clicking sharply across the pavement. Claire stands frozen, torn between gratitude and embarrassment. Logan moves to her side. Are you all right? She nods, but her voice wavers. Logan, people think I am here because of you. He holds her gaze steady and sincere. You are here because you earned the chance, and I will make sure everyone knows that. But Claire looks away shaken. For the first time since she arrived at Mercer, Dynamics doubt creeps back into her chest. She is no longer afraid of the work. She is afraid of what it means to be near him again. The weekend arrives heavy with thought. Claire spends most of Saturday cleaning the apartment, cooking simple meals for Evan, and trying to push aside the echo of Emily Stone's warning. But every time she pauses, every time the apartment grows quiet, the words return. People will assume you are here because of him. By Sunday morning, the anxiety sits so sharply in her chest that she steps outside for air. Evan stays with his aunt for the day, leaving Claire alone with her thoughts. She walks through the small city park, her hands tucked into Logan's coat, her breath rising in pale clouds. She wants to believe him. She wants to believe she earned her place. But she has lived long enough to know how the world works. Rumors can tear apart what little stability she has managed to build. Her phone buzzes. A message from Logan. "Can we meet for a moment? There is something important I want to discuss." Claire hesitates. She knows she cannot avoid this conversation forever. After a long breath, she texts back. At the park bench near the fountain. 15 minutes later, Logan approaches, dressed in a simple coat and gloves. He sits beside her, leaving a respectful distance between them. "I should not have let yesterday happen," he begins. Emily was out of line. Claire keeps her eyes on the frozen fountain. But she was not wrong about the rumors. Logan's jaw tightens. Rumors do not matter. What matters is the truth. But truth does not stop people from talking, Claire replies softly. "I have been working so hard to build a life for Evan. I cannot risk losing this job because people think I am your charity case." Logan turns toward her, his voice low. "Claire, this job is yours because you earned it. I recommended you, yes, but I do not control the hiring panel. They wanted you for your skills and your heart. None of that changes." She shakes her head, struggling with something deeper. "You built your world from nothing. You earned your success. I walked in from the outside with a coat full of holes and a resume full of missing years. I do not want to feel like I am taking shortcuts because I knew you a lifetime ago." Logan's expression softens, but there is pain behind it. "So, what are you saying?" Claire finally looks at him. "I am saying maybe I should step back, at least until I know I can stand on my own." His breath catches. "Claire, do not do this. You have worked too hard to quit before you even begin." "It is not quitting," she says quietly. "It is choosing stability over uncertainty. My son depends on me. I cannot gamble his life on feelings I do not even understand yet." Logan's voice lowers to a nearly broken whisper. "This is not a gamble for me." She closes her eyes, overwhelmed by the sincerity in his tone. "I know. And that is what scares me." Silence hangs between them as the winter wind sweeps across the park. After a long moment, Claire rises from the bench. "I need time, Logan. Time to think. Time to make choices that are mine, not shaped by the past." He stands looking at her with a quiet ache. "If time is what you need, I will give it. But I am not stepping away from you. Not again." Claire nods faintly, holding herself together as she steps back. "Goodbye for now, Logan." As she walks away, Logan remains frozen in place, his breath trembling in the cold air, knowing this moment, this distance, is the deepest wound he has felt in years. A full week passes. Claire throws herself into her new routine at Mercer Dynamics, working quietly, avoiding unnecessary conversations and keeping her distance from Logan. He respects her space, appearing only in passing, offering nothing more than a polite nod that carries far more emotion than he lets show. But the rumors continue. Claire hears them in the break room in whispered conversations and glances that linger too long. Each one chips away at her confidence until by Thursday evening she decides she cannot take it anymore. She prints a resignation letter and slips it into her bag. The next morning she walks into the office early, planning to leave the letter on Denise's desk before anyone arrives. But when she steps into the lobby, she freezes. The massive digital display behind the reception desk has been replaced with something else. Her sketch. The simple pencil drawing she made as a teenager, the one she once showed Logan on the hood of his truck. A small house, a tree, and a figure holding a child's hand. The dream she once believed in. And beneath it, a message written in bold lettering. "Everyone deserves a second beginning. Community Initiative Program." Led by Claire Dalton. Claire's breath trembles. People pause to look at the display, whispering in admiration, not suspicion. A familiar voice speaks behind her. I told them to show your work so they understand your story, Logan says. Not the rumor, not the assumptions. You. She turns slowly. Logan, you did not have to do this. I know, he says softly, but I wanted the truth to speak louder than gossip. You earned your place here, and I wanted everyone to see it. Claire feels tears fill her eyes. I was going to quit. I know, he replies. That is why I had to show you this before you gave up on yourself. She steps closer, her voice breaking. I was scared. I was scared too, Logan admits, but fear does not get to decide our story. He reaches out his hand, not demanding, just offering, one step at a time. Together, if you will let me. Claire looks at his hand, then into his eyes, steady, patient, full of the same quiet love he carried years ago. She places her hand in his. A soft smile forms on her face. Together. And in that moment, surrounded by the glow of her own artwork, Claire realizes something she never thought she would feel again. Hope does not have to be feared. Sometimes it is simply the beginning of everything she thought she lost.